how do you define failure in your own words?
Oh, I can tell these are going to be really good questions.
Let's see.
How do I define failure? I actually don't like the term failure because I feel like from all mistakes is where you can like learn best.
Yeah.
And so in that respect, it's quite tricky. I always think. Also, I feel like I'm going to really ramble in this chat. I always think for instance, like, I really love like NASA and space.
Okay.
And my parents bought me a NASA t-shirt, and on the bottom it said like failure is not an option, and I was like, I just can't wear this t-shirt because I'm like, failure is an option. But how would I define failure? Like, yeah, I guess outwardly or from the initial look, I would say it's, you know, when maybe you've had a plan or you've had a goal and you haven't quite reached it.
Yeah.
Something's gone wrong, or something something hasn't gone to plan.
Yeah.
And you haven't hit the mark. That's how I'd probably say I define failure.
Cool. Yeah, I think it's an interesting one because I think failure overall is like a positive thing. I think it's a positive experience. So I feel like it can be misinterpreted sometimes. I liked what you said at the beginning about it not being... Yeah, I think maybe it's the wrong word, isn't it? Or it really carries this negative...
Exactly. Like... From the initial thing, I think of like failing exams at school. And feeling like, oh, I've put so much work in, like I'm so rubbish at exams, and so I'd try really hard and then like wouldn't get what I thought I should get or would get, and then I'd be like, oh, I've failed, like I feel like I'm like really shit at this, but it's like, you're not, you're just, you've got different strengths in like other areas, and it can be so easily like, I guess, like defined by a mark. I mean, you fail your driving test, don't you? There seems to be like
there are like defining moments.
Yeah.
That
where I feel
overly negative.
Yeah.
But yeah. Cool. Okay. Let's do a second question. Do you have advice from personal experience on how to handle failure well?
I always say, like, if you've made a mistake, like, own up to it. Like, there's been, and actually my mum always said this to me, and it's so true, like in work, if you've ever like done a mistake, just own up to it, because it just makes life so much easier, because the minute you start trying to like hide things and or like cover up, it just becomes so messy. And I know even with like junior team members, if they've tried to like hide something, I'm just like, I can see right through it, like, do you know what I mean? And you almost lose a bit of respect if someone's trying to like hide things. It's so much more kind of rewarding in a way, or not satisfying, like comforting if someone owns up to their mistakes, because like we're all human and we all make mistakes. So like for an example, I was working with a film production company recently, and they had said, and they wanted to book one of our stylists, and they had given us the brief, but they actually had a typo in the brief, and they'd told me it was 2 models, but it was actually 8 models, so that massively changes the parameters. And this was like quite far down the line that they realised they'd done a typo, and I was like, we need more money, like, you know, this is really tricky now. And the guy was like, look, I'm actually, and he was like top producer, he was like, I'm really sorry, like that was just a typo, like it's actually always been 8 models instead of 2. And you know what, as soon as he said that, I was like, yeah, you know what, fair enough. Like, yeah, instead if he was like, oh well actually now the creatives change, do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
if he was trying to like I don't know, lie or kind of not lie, but you know, just the fact that he owned up was like really comforting.
I guess you're able to like actually sort of overcome it the long way around as well, like it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like a way out, as opposed to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
I think also work-wise, which like is a failure, but it's always tricky, is like actually just like standing up for what you believe in.
Okay.
Sometimes, and I feel like it happens especially when you're younger. I'm trying not to do it so much now. Is like if you have an opinion and then someone is like, no, we should do it like this, blah blah, and you just, I don't know, maybe just go with them in a way, like just like speak, like I don't know, like standing your ground and like speaking up for what you believe in, and you know, even you know at work how things are run. I think sometimes I could probably be a bit more like, actually no, I think we should do it like this. I don't know. Is that a failure? You know, it's more of like something that I wish I could change, I guess.
Okay.
I don't feel like I do it as well as I could do.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
So more sort of a failure in progress maybe then.
Yeah. I think that's a really, really good. Yeah, I think that's a very, very good way of like translating that. Like actually, I feel quite often that there is a failure, that like, oh, we should be progressing further than we should be, and it's not quite happening.
Okay. The last question. So most of the stuff we've been talking about is sort of like once something has happened, but this last question I want to ask: how do you approach a situation like something work-wise to either do your best to avoid failure, or if it's very challenging, it's sort of inevitable, how do you prepare to benefit from it, if that makes sense?
Yeah. Wait, can you read the question again?
How can you approach a situation to either avoid failure or benefit from it?
Okay. Again, something that I've learned, just ask questions. So, and like lean on people for like support and being a sounding board, because we can get so much in our head, and I think the moment that you actually like speak to someone and just like get your thoughts out into the open, like it just automatically helps. So I would say if I get given a particularly tricky task and I'm like, I don't know how to approach this, then I would I guess like ask questions. I would and speak to people. Hey, have you done this before? Like, what do you think? On a couple of like production WhatsApp groups where like we ask questions to each other, like, you know, someone wrote, oh, does anyone know how to sanitize a large shoot space so it's COVID friendly, like within 24 hours? Do you know what I mean? And it's like everyone's in the same boat, like no one knows everything, and a lot of people like fake it till they make it, but actually, you know what, just ask a question and then hopefully like you've got an answer, or you can be a sounding board, and it just kind of helps clear your mind.